Move your career further, faster in just 2 days with a Harvard Professional and Executive Development Program. Advance your leadership skills, craft smarter business strategies, build your network, and transform how you work and think to keep your career moving forward. You'll earn a certificate and can add Harvard to your resume with Harvard Professional and Executive Development. Learn more at professional.dce.harvard.edu/Spotify.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/campaign to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Welcome to Book Talk for Book Talk, a literary podcast where we've been deep diving into your favorite novels. This is Jack.
And I'm Amy. And our listeners love to share their thoughts and theories via email and voicemail, so we're sharing them via our weekly mini episodes.
The views expressed by the hosts and listeners are entirely their own and in no way represent the thoughts or intentions of the original author. This podcast is a discussion shared to spark thought and conversation on the characters and themes of this novel.
Spoilers may be discussed with or without warning. Explicit language, as well as themes of sex, violence, abuse, death, and depression, will recur throughout this podcast. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to our mini episode series. During each mini, we'll be reading listener feedback and theories, as well as discussing all things Sarah J. Maas, including her ACOTAR, Crescent City, and Throne of Glass series.
For this week's mini episode, we're doing an Ask Us Anything. We posted on our Instagram stories asking our listeners for questions, and here we are.
And they asked us anything. These are good questions.
Okay.
We're gonna some of them we're gonna have to use our brain power together.
Together.
Great. We're gonna have to put our rings together and brain power. Are you ready?
Ready.
Why is the Autumn Court the only one mentioned in Crescent City?
I've thought about this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So that means you clearly have an answer.
I was going to say, I don't know that I have an answer. Is it really Autumn Court, or is he just called the Autumn King?
I think that's a good point. Because, so in folklore, the Fae are divided up between like Autumn Court, Summer Court. Like that is SGM didn't come up with that. That is kind of Tolkien.
But they also have different, there are variations of
there's
this.
Like the Seelie Court. And
right, Seelie and Unseelie.
Mm-hmm.
So just because it's autumn does not mean that there's necessarily all of the seasons or the solar courts.
Doesn't have to be related to the Autumn King in general in Prythian.
Right, and we also have to think about in Crescent City, there are different types of Fae, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have the Valbaran, and then whatever Cormac is, I can't remember what he is.
Oh.
It's like a different line of Fae.
Yeah. I mean, but that could be their courts too.
That could also be their courts.
But, you know, AskJam doesn't do anything without a purpose, so I'm sure there's some kind of connection between Autumn and our Autumn. Mm-hmm. Our Autumn being Prythian. But that there you go.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We don't have an answer for you, but that's our rambling.
I'm sure there is going to be some significance because he's Autumn. He's got the red hair.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the red hair, as in Bryce. And now she's in Prythian. Like there is significance there. We just don't know the extent of it yet.
We won't know until January 2024. All right, what are both of your favorite ACOTAR ships can be canon or not?
Ooh.
I like the idea of non-canon ships.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. This is going to be controversial.
Okay.
Nesta and Rhys.
I love it.
Right?
Honestly, if Feyre had never met Rhys, I think Nesta and Rhys would have actually gotten along really well.
Agree.
They're so alike.
Yeah. I mean, they're very, very similar. Maybe it's like too much fire in one scenario. But like if we're going to go non-canon and just kind of go off script here, then I think that they'd make great feisty scenes together.
Honestly, I think Nesta would be the better High Lady for the Court of Nightmares.
I agree. I think she has a lot of potential in her. They keep referencing her as the queen.
Yep.
Not Feyre.
Yep.
And, you know, Rhys is the one who kind of like somewhat propositions Feyre for a threesome.
True.
That's up Nesta's lane.
Also true. So, canon, Cassian and Nesta.
Yes, of course, definitely.
Not canon. I used to say Elaine and Azriel. Having just reread Frost and Starlight, there is part of me that really, 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 really wants more in Elaine. I could see more bringing Elaine out of her shell.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, Moore's gentle.
Yeah.
You know, like she wouldn't force Elaine to do anything, and Moore's so approachable.
And then they'd have hot gay sex.
Oh, yeah, they would. Rhys is a powerful Damati, yet they need to torture people, plot hole, or something else.
I genuinely think Azriel does it as a way of coping with his trauma.
Azriel's not Damati, though.
But
Rhys is.
But Rhys has Azriel do a lot of the torturing.
Yeah, but Rhys physically tortures as well.
Name an example.
The Ravens.
That was because he was pissed off. We talked about this.
Yes, but hold on, I'm trying to think there's another example. I'm sure. Oh, you're right. Okay, so the other times he does use Azriel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think of another time. I was trying to pull up the examples for this listener, but I can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
So if Rhys gets physical, I think it is akin to the Ravens. That he has a physical need to torture the individual as a way of release. I personally think he utilizes Azriel for torture as a way to control Azriel. Because Azriel needs to vent his trauma because he has no other way to process it. And the only way to keep Azriel in check is to allow him that outlet.
Like if Rhys didn't control it, then Azriel would go on some kind of killing spree.
Right. Or just be overly angry, aggressive to a point that Rhys would no longer be able to control him.
I'm just imagining like a Snickers bar commercial. It's like, hey man, you feel a little hungry? You should go kill some people here. You seem a little hangry. I think you should get a Snickers and murder. Torture and maim.
Honestly, though, I wouldn't put it past Rhys.
Reese's Pieces. All right. How did you name your characters in your books? I have a giant list and can't decide who's who.
I honestly can't remember. So at least for my fantasy novel.
I know how you did it. You went through the list of my family members.
This was long before I knew you.
I know, but it oddly overlaps.
It does. It does. I mean, the names I picked for my fantasy novel, I picked in 2007.
Yeah.
And they've just always been those people in my brain. So it's been, I can't tell you how I picked them. I just did. But last names.
Yeah.
I do a lot of picking from names of people I know or in my own family line. Or because I work in a school, I see a lot of names every day.
That's cool.
I pick names that I see because I see thousands of names a day.
So fantasy, my fantasy book, it is so hard for me to pick names. I want it to mean something. I have it, every name I've done research on, I want it to be very specific. Like it doesn't come from anywhere. I started writing a non-fantasy book. They just come. Like you don't have to think about it. It's just like, boom. You're Richard now, and that's just what you are.
I will say, because in my fantasy novel, I want it to be very diverse, and no particular area of a land is restricted to a specific race or ethnicity. So I do a lot of like, what culture have I not represented? and like search for common names in that culture.
Yeah.
And start to pull and compile lists.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Here's an easy question. Amy, you've got this. Favorite wine?
It's actually not that easy because I'm still exploring.
Because you love so much wine.
I do.
There was it like when you started going into the wine world, you're like, wine's nasty, and I'm like, you'll get used to it, and then you went on like on a quest to You're like, I will force myself to love this.
Now I love wine. So my favorite white would be a Sauvignon Blanc.
A Sauvignon Blanc?
Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh, Blanc.
It's really fruity and refreshing, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
A sweet Riesling is always a nice dessert wine. I do like a red blend, which is what Jack likes. I'm learning to like.
I do like the red blend. I didn't know what my answer was.
Yours is red blend.
Or Malbec. I do like a Malbec, but I haven't had a good Malbec in a while.
I'm learning to enjoy cabs.
Mm-hmm.
Cabernet, I guess it's Sauvignon.
Yeah.
Because that's actually what my boss drinks. And every time I go to his house for dinner, he's giving me red wine. I'm like, oh, I really like this. And it's always a cab.
I don't know. Like, it's so funny because wine just makes me think of like, it's what I drank growing up. I'm Hispanic. So it was like dinner table, like as a child and as a teenager.
A teaspoon of wine.
More than a teaspoon. But definitely, like, it was just what I drank with my family. In recent years, I've definitely stopped drinking as much alcohol as I used to. Every once in a while I get into like a good, like, I need wine. You know what we have to make this summer?
What?
Chilean sangria.
Yeah, we do.
That uses a red blend.
Yes. I have to say, so on my drive here, I was listening to Muna and their song, That's What I Want.
Yeah.
And it's really my anthem, and it's been my anthem for the past year.
Mm-hmm.
Of just like, I've held back for so many years, and I've gained a lot of weight since I started drinking alcohol again. And I recognize that. And I kind of don't care.
That's just what I want. Well, you still look great. The thing is, we all look great.
Yeah. I'm trying to really embrace that and accept the curves that I have. But anyway, the point is, I drink a lot of wine. I gain a lot of weight. I don't care because I enjoy the wine.
You gain a lot of happiness.
That's right.
Fall has officially started here in Los Angeles, and that means we finally get to do fall activities.
I have been counting down the days for when I can go to pumpkin patches, maybe even hit up an apple orchard, and I get to do all of it looking super cute in my Quince boyfriend sweater.
This weather is perfect for my dark academia vibes, and I'm so excited to bust out my washable silk blouse because you know I'm going to be taking pictures.
Quince is known for their Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50. And that's not all. Quince has so many other amazing things on their website.
All of those items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands.
That includes leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim. Like, my entire fall wardrobe is genuinely turning into Quince wardrobe.
By partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the cost of the middleman, we get savings as the customer.
One of my favorite parts about Quince is the fact that they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. And they still manage to get premium fabrics and finishes for that, luxury feeling for every item that they have.
Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. That's quince.com/booktalk.
Move your career further, faster in just 2 days with a Harvard Professional and Executive Development Program. Advance your leadership skills, craft smarter business strategies, build your network, and transform how you work and think to keep your career moving forward. You'll earn a certificate and can add Harvard to your resume with Harvard Professional and Executive Development. Learn more at professional.dce.harvard.edu/Spotify.
What book just did not live up to the hype, and why? I mean, there's one book Amy and I were just talking about that I finished reading, and it has like a really good rating on
Goodreads.
on Goodreads. And I read it and I was so bothered by the whole thing that as I was talking to Amy, I downgraded my Goodreads rating from a 3 to a 2.
Well, because you were telling me about it, and there's this one spicy scene that, yeah, sounds fantastic. But the more you were telling me about the book, I'm like, how did you even finish this book?
Yeah, I was like, she uses a $6,000 dress to clean up, if you know what I mean, after being in the changing room. And yeah, but then there's just like this author doesn't know. When Amy sat down, I'm like, I don't think this author knows how to use question marks. I don't know. But yeah, that was one that the hype just did not do it for me.
Fair.
You?
I'm trying to think of things that I've read. The thing is that I very rarely pick up a book.
Mm-hmm.
So I only pick up a book if my friend has told me for the past 3 years to read it because it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the books I read are really good.
Yeah. No, it's true.
It's true.
Yeah, like even the ones that I've recently been like, Amy, you got to read this, aka Dragon's Bride.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was very entertaining for what it was.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there was things I read as a child. Wow.
You're like, look, Dr. Seuss, Cat in the Hat, just really, really didn't do it for me. It was too above.
I'm thinking back to like high school and college. Was there something we were forced to read? You know what I think didn't live up to the hype?
Go ahead. I have one from high school too.
Clockwork Orange.
Oh,
I know you love that book.
oh wow. No, it's okay. I just didn't know this about you.
It's good. I just don't remember it being amazing.
Yeah.
It was cutting edge at the time it was written.
Yep.
But now I'm just like,
You know what makes so much sense is that, like, if you've read Clockwork Orange, the main guy, you're not supposed to like him. You're supposed to kind of like him, but it's, he's not a good guy.
No, he's not.
I had such a thing for him.
Oh my gosh.
The reason why I liked it is I had such a, I was like, he's kind of hot. This explains my dark romance,
Yeah,
though.
you and your dark romance started with a Clockwork Orange,
It
apparently.
really did. That's why my crush in college, when he showed up dressed up as Clockwork Orange,
Oh, you were.
I was like, that's when the crush started. It was
that makes sense.
oh my God, why do you look so good?
That makes sense.
For me, high school one is Great Gatsby.
Oh, yeah.
I actively dislike Great Gatsby.
Actively dislike something. Oh, Animal Farm? Fucking hate Animal Farm.
Yep.
And there was another one that's based in China, The Good Earth. I honestly, that is the only book in high school I didn't finish reading, and I faked it for all my essays.
Wow.
It's the only book in my academic career that I used Cliff Notes for.
Wow.
Yeah, I hated that book. And it's part of my heritage. I should appreciate it.
How much symbolism is planned and how much is SJM skill? Is it all planned?
I think it's happy coincidence.
Half and half.
Yeah, it's half and half. Like the doe.
The doe is completely planned. Like
Wolf.
Yes.
Honestly, the wolf was probably born from the doe imagery that she used in Thorns and Roses.
Yeah.
I do think that as a writer, you do fall back on using the same types of metaphors and imagery.
Yep.
And so it's easy to create patterns. And that's not always intentional.
Yes.
But I would say with SJM, things like the doe are very intentional.
And that's the thing with sometimes with writing, you can teach a lot of it. You can attempt to do a lot of it. And then there's just that innate talent.
Yeah.
That you just can't teach.
Yeah.
And I think hers, a lot of it is that innate talent.
Yeah. And I think I'm thinking back to a short story that I really loved that I wrote in college. And I think sometimes with imagery, you start with something, you use an image, and you're like, oh, that actually fits way better than I thought it did. And then you build from there.
Yeah.
So sometimes the first instance is just part of the writing process.
And then you're like, wait, I liked it. And then you
and then
play
you
off
build
of it.
around it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. Could Winter, Day, and Dawn showing up first to the High Lord meeting show that they are the most neutral?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. They're just there to hang.
Yeah.
They're there for a good time.
Not a long time? I don't know.
No, Helion's there for a long time and good times.
No, I definitely think it's because they're most neutral and they have nothing
Better to do.
nothing against anybody. So why
Yeah.
show up late?
Yeah, that's fair. I relate. All right, this is there's a lot of writing questions. I'm not going to say that it hurts us, but we'll see what the pain is. How do you get past intimidation of other great writers and start writing? You and I talk about this a lot when it comes to SJM, where sometimes we're doing prep and we just look at each other. We're like, shit, she's really good.
Yeah, I think for me, there are so many amazing authors that I don't think I'll ever compare to.
Mm-hmm.
However, they're not writing the story I want to read right now.
Yeah.
And so I feel the need to write the story I want to read, if that makes sense.
Yes. I had this like I'm not going to downplay myself. In college, when we were in creative writing, I had a certain kind of confidence in myself that I accepted. I was like, I'm not going to be this like next great American author, but I'm okay with that because I know the stories that I do write are interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was really okay with that. And I think that you just kind of, and I don't want to be like stick to your lane, but like know what you're good at and embrace those.
Yeah, because Fitzgerald and Hemingway aren't writing or did not write the stories sometimes that appeal to us now.
No, Fitzgerald stole from his wife.
Right. I used to put a lot of pressure on myself to be like, I really want to write the next great American novel.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to be something. I want to write something that students in college will study in 50 years from now. I used to put a lot of pressure on myself, and that's not who I am anymore. And I want to have a good time.
So I think it depends on what you're writing, whether it's the chapter, a scene, or the entire book. If there's emotion, a specific emotion I want you to walk away with, then I did it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what you're going to remember.
Right.
Like that's part of the reason why I am so sorry if there's any person here that their favorite book is Great Gatsby. I apologize now. But for me, when a guy says that their favorite book is Great Gatsby, that's always a red flag. Oh, yeah. I'm like, it's no one's favorite book. Like, you're just being pretentious.
No, for me, it idolizes the bachelor life.
Yeah. And
that's why it's a red flag.
Right. And like, again, I'm sorry if people really like The Great Gatsby, but it's like one of those things where, it's trying. The green lantern in the background, like
the green light,
green light, like it's really trying to do something versus like I'll go back to like Haunting Adeline. I loved that book, and that's because I walked away with a very clear impression of emotions that the author was trying to give me.
Yeah, I love Red Rising.
Oh yeah,
because of how vicious it is, how many mistakes are made. And how human it is.
Yeah.
And I think so long as the story you're telling is about the human experience, because that's what all the great novels have in common, is about human experience. Mm-hmm. And if you're getting at human experience, nobody can deny that.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell you you're wrong.
Yep.
Because you wrote about you wrote about what it means to be human.
No matter whether they're fairies, vampires, anything else, like
spicy,
non-spicy, like, when we say human experience, they don't even have to be human or alive. Like,
no, it's just about emotion.
It could be a ghost white shoes. No one steal that. Amy's working on it.
That is my romance novel in progress.
That's yours to write.
Why choose?
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
How do you get in the mood to write, and what's your first step in the writing process?
Music.
Recently, sometimes you have to just have something that you're really passionate about writing, and that might not be your main project.
I think a person's ability to do anything and do it consistently is all about the routine you create for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get up in the morning and go to work? I have to shower. I have to wash my face. I have steps before I can set off for a successful day at work.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same for writing. It's the same for people who work out regularly.
Mm-hmm. Both of which we don't do.
Correct. But it's about creating the environment where your mind accepts, okay, this is a job I'm going to go do now.
Yes. And then I'm gonna say the opposite of like, how can you still make it fun?
Yeah.
And like, you know, like it is a job, but like sometimes where, so, you know, I don't know where this comes out in the timeline of life, but I've been working on a romance book and I have my fantasy book. And right now that fantasy book I can't right now. Like it's
Can't fantasy.
I can't fantasy right now. I need to not think too hard about the magic and the plot and everything. So, you know, I'm having fun with this other book, but I think what makes me have fun when I go back to my fantasy, what makes me have fun with it is playing with my characters in my head, like scenarios and stuff. And of course, like there's the classic outline each chapter, do a summary, and then you just kind of daydream.
So here's how I view what you're saying. Because you're not successfully executing the routine of your fantasy novel, you're filling in with the routine of your romance novel.
All right. I see what
And
you're
that's keeping you going.
Yeah.
Because without the romance novel, you would just have writer's block and you would be done.
And that's like the thing where just because you're not writing your quote unquote main project, you're like, I'm a failure, I'm a bad writer.
Exactly.
And it's like, no, I love writing. It makes me happy. I get a high from it.
Yeah.
And
you're exercising the muscle.
Yeah. So, you know, just write to make you happy and eventually it'll be what you're trying to do. What are your predictions for the next ACOTAR book?
Elaine's point of view.
Mm-hmm. Multiple point of views, multiple storylines. I think Throne of Glass or even Crescent City style.
I think more of Coast J.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think Coast J is going to go after more, having read Frost and Starlight now.
I like that. Yeah, I think the next one, like the last between Feyre's point of view, Nesta's point of view, it's been a lot of like focused on them versus other storylines. I think then going forward in ACOTAR, it's going to be a lot more. There's a lot of storylines to get through.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of the other storylines that we've kind of that have been pushed aside.
Yeah. If you were to rewrite the ACOTAR series, what would you change, add, take out? Kill off more characters.
Absolutely. If Amren wasn't necessary for crossover stuff, I would have killed off Amren and Wings and Ruin.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to have seen more interaction between the courts.
Yep. I would have liked more point of views.
More point of views for sure.
I enjoyed Feyre quite a bit, but I want more.
That's what I liked about Frost and Starlight, having reread it, was you get more Cassian, Rhys, and Feyre.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that.
Yeah.
4 was good.
Yeah. How do you write compelling characters that stay with the reader? SJM is good at this.
I think for them to be compelling, they have to be consistent.
Whoa. Yeah. I think to write compelling characters, you can't be afraid to make them go too far in either direction.
And I think you have to really understand their motivation. You can't have them do something just because you want them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They have to have a reason to do it, and that reason has to be convincing to the reader.
Yeah. Make them nice and flawed.
Yeah.
That's another one. Like, I think that's why people really love or hate Nesta.
Yes.
But regardless, whether you love or hate them, that's compelling.
Yep.
Do you have any advice on creating a productive writing routine? I'm slacking.
I think you need to have a dedicated space that is your writing space, that is not your bed.
Yep.
I used to do a lot of writing in bed. Don't.
Yep.
You need to separate. You need to have, for me, and you do this, Jack, I need to have a consistent playlist.
Yes.
I condition myself to write to that playlist.
Yeah, you Pavlovian dog yourself, and I've never respected you more than in those moments.
But it works.
Yeah.
Like I have a playlist that is my Evelyn playlist. Mm-hmm. And when I listen to it, I feel Evelyn and I want to write about Evelyn.
Getting yourself out of a certain space to write is really important.
Yeah.
I struggle because at home, I can't write on my couch. It's too comfy. I struggle a little bit. I've gotten better at writing at my work desk.
Mm-hmm. But it's your work desk.
But it's my work desk. You did this, and then it's kind of inspired me when I have time, is dedicate your lunch hour to writing.
Yeah.
That's great. I have a sushi restaurant that I like to go write at.
You also did something interesting that I liked, is you wore headphones and listened to nothing.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
To help your concentration.
Yeah, I do that when I write. So it's just to like help block out some noise, but sometimes music's a little too distracting.
Especially if it's got lyrics that you like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
it's a lot of trial and error until you find what works.
And then sometimes when you find what works, you have to change it up.
Yeah.
Do you recommend self-publishing? Why or why not?
If you had asked me a year or two ago, I would have said never.
But now?
The world has opened up to me. Now that I know that some of my favorite authors have been self-published, like S.B. Nova.
Even the author of Haunting Adeline, she's self-published.
Right. And then Katie Roberts is self-published. I think we put too much pressure on traditional publishing.
Yep.
And don't understand the process because it's very opaque. And success in traditional publishing is very rare. And so to that extent, I think if you're writing for yourself and your joy, there's nothing wrong with self-publishing.
And TikTok's changed the game. Like,
100.
You now can market yourself in a low-cost / free potentially way. Like, you can go put the work out on social media, get an audience, and, get the TikTok interested.
Yeah, social media has really changed the landscape of books and writing.
And I love that.
And I think it gives individuals permission to write and share in a way that the traditional publishing world has never allowed.
Yeah. Yeah. So on that note, are you guys writing your own books? If so, when do they come out? So I think I can almost confidently say that I am writing a romance novel that will likely come out this year.
I love it. I love that for you.
Thank you.
I have had too much change in my life.
Yeah.
To allow for me to make progress on my book, my fantasy book. Jack has inspired me to write a romance novel.
Amy and I had the best sesh. Like, you know how like musicians jam sesh?
Yeah, we had the best writing sesh.
Yeah, like of just brainstorming ideas together for her romance novel. And it's fun.
It's fun, and I feel motivated because it's low stakes. And I really would like to work towards publication this year. Or the end of this year.
And because it's self-publish.
Who cares?
It's
on my timeline.
It's on my timeline. And it's definitely like it's a nice break from having to think about like, what's the name of the land they come from? What are the rules to the magic here? Like, I just get to write for the love of writing.
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't do that often enough.
No, not at all. But yeah, so hopefully you'll see something from us later on this year. Theory that Rhys's sister was Tamlin's mate.
I don't think that that's possible because Tamlin would have killed his family for killing her.
Boom. Roasted. No, not to this particular submitter, but like to all of TikTok that might think that. Yeah, he would have known.
Yeah, I mean, he would have had an inkling, and if not, his instincts would have kicked in. Think about how Lucien acts every time Grayson is mentioned. Or even before Elaine turned into a fae, his actions with her, like in the room, he was going towards her, like getting really protective. Right. Think about Cassian rushing to Nesta when the ravens attack. Think about Rhys and the way he kills the ravens when he knows Feyre is in danger. Mates don't allow shit to happen to their mates. Mates don't let shit happen, yeah. Yeah, think about Feyre and the way she went after Hybern when Rhys was captured in Mist and Fury. You don't have to like them, but you protect them. It's your instinct. Right, it's instinct. And so for Tamlin to have successfully helped his family kill Rhys's sister, whether he actually did the killing act himself or not. Yeah. It's not... He makes some great freaking points. Wow. All right, guys. Good job, Amy, today. Thanks. You did it. I did my homework. I'd say go home, but we have a long day. Yeah. What are books that are good but also challenging? House of Leaves. House of Leaves is an excellent example. It is so fucking good. But so hard. I don't understand it. You have to commit to the journey. Yeah. And the flipping back and forth and the various footnotes and all these things. But my God, that's actually one I want to go back and reread. It's intense. It is intense because it's like there is nothing in this world you have ever read that is like it. 100%. And you will never read something like that again. I can guarantee. It is an experience. It is. And it is hard. It scared me. Oh, yeah. I was terrified. I was so scared. It kind of reads like a horror book, too. 100%. And like, I want to go back and read it, but I'm also scared. Maybe I've read enough serial killers and stalkers at this point that I can take it Maybe, but think about it. Imagine watching a paranormal documentary series, but reading it. But still
also kind of like
experiencing
in the vibe of the Twilight Zone.
Yes. And still experiencing it like it was filmed, but you're reading it. Like, it was
a trip.
It's such a trip, and it is so fantastic. I still have my copy from college.
Oh, nice. I think I got rid of mine, and then I bought another one.
Oh, I have all my tabs from college in it still.
Oh.
Yeah. I want to go back and read it.
I'll go back and read it once I've gained enough courage.
Thank you for listening to this mini episode of Book Talk for Book Talk. We encourage you to rate and subscribe to our show on your preferred podcast listening platform.
We would love to hear your thoughts based on today's conversation. You can submit your comments to our form at booktalkforbooktalk.com or via our Camflare voicemail system. Please visit booktalkforbooktalk.com for more information.
You can also follow us on TikTok or Instagram at the handle Book Talk for Book Talk. Bye!
Fall has officially started here in Los Angeles, and that means we finally get to do fall activities.
I have been counting down the days for when I can go to pumpkin patches, maybe even hit up an apple orchard, and I get to do all of it looking super cute in my Quince boyfriend sweater.
This weather is perfect for my dark academia vibes, and I'm so excited to bust out my washable silk blouse because you know I'm going to be taking pictures.
Quince is known for their Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50. And that's not all. Quince has so many other amazing things on their website.
All of those items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands.
That includes leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim. Like, my entire fall wardrobe is genuinely turning into Quince wardrobe.
By partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the cost of the middleman, we get savings as the customer.
One of my favorite parts about Quince is the fact that they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. And they still manage to get premium fabrics and finishes for that, luxury feeling for every item that they have.
Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. That's quince.com/booktalk.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.